Well, you know, it's interesting because last week over the Thanksgiving holiday, actually, President Trump signed a bill that was almost unanimously passed by both houses of Congress, basically taking the Chinese to task when it comes to Hong Kong and the demonstrations and the political process that's going on there. Now, President Trump actually didn't really want to sign these bills because it would anger the Chinese and conflate what's going on in Hong Kong with the Chinese trade talks. So he did so reluctantly. Still, it very much angered the Chinese. They summoned the U.S. ambassador in Beijing, and now you see these moves against NGOs like Human Rights Watch and, as you said, Alexis, prohibiting U.S. military from visiting Hong Kong. So it's just another step in the decoupling of the relationship between the United States and China.
Does this derail the trade deal?
I don't think so. It doesn't help matters, though, does it,
talks,
Brian?
there is really no deal.
That's right. It doesn't help matters. And as I was pointing out, in terms of putting these two things together, which is to say the mess in Hong Kong with the trade talks, is not something actually that either side wants. And so when you start to put those things together, it makes things that much more complicated.
Now, also, I want to mention President Xi and Vladimir Putin of Russia have inked a deal for a new Russian gas pipeline in China. I mean, I'm sure President Trump sees all this going down. It looks like China's relationship with Russia is strengthening as we continue to try to come up with something for this trade war.
Yeah, I mean, the Chinese eyes wide open when it comes to Russia, and they have no illusions about Vladimir Putin. So they're proceeding with caution there. It's not like we're going to throw them into the arms of the Russians because they're skeptical of the motives of Putin, just in the same way that we are. However, you know, if they've got oil and gas, the Chinese need it. Now, the Chinese are looking for other alliances. We've seen this Belt and Road initiative they're pushing, which is going to mean they're going to be moving out all across Southeast Asia towards India and towards Europe as well. They've got some inroads actually with Italy that are part of Belt and Road. So they are being aggressive, no doubt about that. The Russia thing is probably more of a one-off when it comes to energy, though, specifically.
You know, Andy, you make an interesting point in your story that throughout all this year of trade talk and discussions, China's economy still continue to move forward with reforms and continue to modernize.
Yeah, I think that's right. And one thing that I talked about in that context, Brian, is the Alibaba secondary offering in Hong Kong last week. That a lot of people said, oh, Hong Kong's over, it's dead. There's no more business there. I mean, this is the biggest IPO of 2019, bigger than Uber's IPO. And, you know, Alibaba has wanted to sell shares in Asia for a long time, but they couldn't because they had multiple classes of stock. Hong Kong liberalized those rules, and that allowed Alibaba to move forward. And to your point, Brian, that shows that China, through Hong Kong, is continuing market reforms that will attract global companies and bring back some of those Chinese companies that have listed here in the United States. So an important move, as you say, you know, we're eating turkey, the Chinese are moving forward.